All right. Well, welcome back to episode 15 of the Post Frame 360 podcast. I am one of your hosts, Scott Cragg, along with Josh Nowlin. Josh, how are you today, man?
Are you serious? 15? That's
50.
crazy.
I know, right? 15 episodes in. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. And man, we thank you to our listeners. Thank you for, you know, listening to this. And the more you listen and share and like, it just continues to feed those algorithms. And so the thing about the podcast, right, is we want it to be educational. We want it to be fun. That's what we set out to do whenever we're like, hey, let's create a podcast. And one of the other reasons, and maybe we talked about this, maybe we didn't, but it's a good opportunity as a reminder is, when you think about, like I think about myself personally, my email inbox has probably got 13,000 emails in it, right? I don't really check my email. There's things that I know that I'm looking for. Other than that, whatever. Inbox is too full with junk stuff. Text messaging, ever since our phone numbers got sold and everyone gets hammered with cell phone messages, probably stopped answering the phone. So what's the best way to communicate with our contractors, our customers? And it's like, well, hey, the podcast. And so the exciting thing is that appears to be working, right? We're getting really good feedback, but it's actually moved a little bit beyond our contractors, and we have people listening from all over the country, which is pretty awesome. So we thank you for that. And
Mm-hmm.
again, in the nature of what the podcast is, we always try to bring you something valuable. But today, we're going to freestyle, Josh, because we were trying to figure out a topic and we just don't have one.
This was a bit of an impromptu. I don't even think we were going to podcast this week, so we just thought let's throw something together. Let's chat. We threw a couple topics out that actually we will podcast about because they're very important and I think they need to be planned for. We are working on a joint podcast for maybe next week or the following week. We want to do it soon. We want to have a guest accountant on to talk about the big, beautiful bill and how that might affect your business.
Right.
But I want to address these big frames I'm wearing, Scott, because, I noticed before I got on here, it had a mark on my nose. And so I wanted to cover it up with my blue light glasses, but I am going to be, I need to go get fitted for real glasses. I had my vision test last week and man, I flunked it bad.
Well,
So bad. So
I think you're reminding me a little bit of DJ Jazzy Jeff. Those of you, who are kind of my generation. There was a time when, man, those glasses, those were pretty fly for a white guy, bro.
yeah, I know. I told my wife, because she's going to be the stylist. She'll probably pick them out for me, but I kind of like the old
Yeah.
school look. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I'm
good.
sure you'll see here in a week or two.
Yeah. Well, and here's
So,
the thing. Like you said, we weren't planning so much to podcast today, but the week's gotten busy. And so maybe that's where we dive into this podcast, right? Things happen. You can have a
mhm.
plan, you can have a schedule, things be going along just fine. And then you got to call an audible, right? You got to work on the fly. So this is real life right now, guys. And I'm just going to be honest with you. It's been a hectic day, right? It has been, man, it's like Monday carried over to today. And
Mhm.
you just
Mhm.
kind of got to, I don't know, work off the fly, ad lib a little bit, and just work in the moment. And so hopefully maybe what this podcast can do today is I don't know, put you in the driver's seat or the passenger seat with us. Because here's the thing, you're a business owner, we're business owners, and we can plan and we can talk through the plan and it's valuable. But I think sometimes it's nice just to know that, hey, you know what? That's what they're dealing with is what I deal with. They're human too.
Yeah,
And we
the
are.
100%, and I thought we could talk a little bit too. I'm going to share maybe with our listeners what I've been working on the last couple days because we're always working. We have our daily stuff, and then we're always kind of working ahead and looking ahead and
Mhm.
planning and we're going to unveil a big equestrian program
Right.
in the very near future, and so I've been working with a big group of people, designers, engineers, um, equestrian folk, and just putting together this whole program to provide our clients with,
Mhm.
some really good, somewhat cookie cutter boxes, but not real tough, but some really nice quality options to.
Mhm,
So if our listeners haven't ventured into equestrian or haven't ventured into it much,
mhm.
start thinking about it, because Burrows is going to bring you some really good options.
Yeah.
Stalls, wash bays, tack rooms, it'll all be part of it. Um, there's some really really high end equestrian stuff out there,
Mhm.
and there's some really kind of, well, down here in South Texas. No offense if anybody listening's from South Texas, but I've seen some pretty shoddy stall situations. Uh, but we're going to land somewhere in the middle, right? We
Right,
feel like a
right.
lot of our clients can fit that mold of the middle of the pack, and so I'm excited about that. I mean, it's a good project. The other thing I've been working on is engineering.
Mhm,
So we've talked a little bit about that in the past, and we haven't really rolled out a huge push with it yet, but
mhm.
we have invested in that typical engineering. And
Right.
I just got my plans back for or not California, maybe someday.
Oh,
No,
oh,
we don't want to
no.
be there,
Yeah.
but Colorado. So
We'd have to
yeah.
stick Prop 65 labels on everything. Right?
So yeah, exactly. So we did just get our Colorado prints back. So that's really, really awesome. So if you're listening and interested in Burroughs, our pre-engineered options, um, give me a holler. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So
So you had 2 things there that you shared with our listeners that you're working on, and obviously, we'll have specific podcasts just to the equestrian portion, and then one specifically to engineering. And I think here's the thing to think about, maybe you're saying, "Wow, you guys seem to always be coming up with something new." And I think there needs to be a really healthy balance between releasing new exciting stuff while also maintaining consistency and um, excellence in your foundations. And the reason why I say that is, if you're a listener now and you're like, hey, I just rock it at, shops, or hey, I'm like killing it in barn dominiums. Man, you've got your wheelhouse. That's awesome. But I think one of the things that if you kind of think about where Josh is coming from, man, we are in a position right now, in a season right now where you're going to have to diversify. Like you're going to have to diversify into something
hmm
to pick up new revenue streams. And the equestrian market, I did really well in the equestrian market. And, you mentioned a couple of different segments. I was at the high threshold. I mean, it was nothing to build a $500,000 equestrian facility. Um, and I had to learn a lot, and so that's what I would say is if you're listening to this right now and you're like, "Oh, man, like, building an equestrian barn, that sounds great." Well, hey, I've got some homework you can do before we release the plans and we, have a podcast in more detail, and here's what I would say. Um Learn about horses a little bit. You don't need to go out and learn how to ride, but you need to understand the difference between they call them warm bloods, so big horses and, more of your smaller horses because, those are just some little things, right? And I don't wanna get real granular, but you don't wanna walk into building a horse barn or meeting with someone about a horse barn, and they're like, "Yeah, well, I've got 4 warm bloods." And you're like, "What?
what's
I
that?
don't know what the heck's a warm blood," right? So just a little bit, like, if you're like, "Oh, man, I'm excited about this," um, do just a little bit of homework so that you can talk with some of these customers. Because 'cause I'm telling you, equestrian lovers, equestrian, people who have man, it's a culture. That's the best way to say it. It's a culture. You gotta learn how to talk to these people and not
hmm
sell. I'm not saying be inauthentic, but there's a lot that goes around the equestrian space. So, um, do some Google search, Google search, horse breeds, Google search, stall barns, right? Start to get familiar with it, because, what's a tack barn? What's a wash bay? Think about cross ties, cross tie in an alley. So I'm throwing some stuff out there. I'm not trying to
hmm
make it hard, but if you can start looking at some of this stuff now, it'll make that launch so much more real for you and you'll be ahead of the curve. Does that make sense, Josh? Was that too
Oh
much?
no, there's going to be so much to learn if you don't. If you haven't ventured into the equestrian market, I like the idea of studying in studying up on it a little bit, asking questions. Of course,
Mhm,
I know that our listeners have access to you. You've made yourself available for them.
mhm.
So yeah, just feel free to call and pick Scott's brain.
Yeah,
I
do
I
that.
don't have a extensive knowledge of it myself. I now my knowledge lies more on the construction side, right? And
Mhm,
I think it's fair to say that unless you're an equestrian person yourself,
mhm.
you may not know near what your client will know about the horses in the equestrian side and what the horses need, but they're also not going to know how to build a horse barn. That's why you're there. So,
Right, right.
and knowing your place is probably important as well, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it is, and here's as you were saying that, Josh, thank you for that. Man, guys, when you're out driving around, driving to a job, whatever, start looking, like, look for horse barns. You're gonna know, right? Usually they have, you'll see pins outside the building, sliding door, hayloft.
Hmm.
Start keeping your eyes out, and whenever you see one that you're like, "Oh, that's awesome," obviously be respectful, but drive up. Here's the thing, equestrian lovers, they love to talk about their horses, and they really enjoy talking about their facilities.
Hmm.
So that would be something else I'd encourage you to do if you're driving down the road and you've got, give yourself 30, 45 minutes, right? Because if they're talkers, which they are, and they wanna they love to educate, um, drive up, say, "Hey, you know what? Hey, my name's Scott Cragg, I'm with Burrow Supply, and I was driving down the road, I'm headed to another job. I saw your facility, man, this is beautiful. Do you have a few minutes that, I would just love to learn about your barn. I'm kinda new, I'm thinking about building equestrian barns. Do you mind walking me through your barn? Tell me what you love about it. Tell me what you don't like about it. What would you do different?" Man, like, that would be fantastic, and you never know what could come of it, right? You might
Hmm.
get you some
Hmm.
repairs out of the deal. But, that's something I did a lot whenever I got into post frame, is if I had a minute, I'd just roll up. "Hey, I like your building. Tell me about that."
Hmm.
And I wasn't there to try to get a sell. I was there to learn so that I could sell down the road against that, or maybe I picked up something new that I didn't even exist that I knew existed, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, man, next time I got a customer, this other shop, man, they had, they had a car lift inside there,
Hmm.
and they ran scissor trusses on part of the building to allow for the height." Man, you can get so many ideas. Just a thought.
So I want to switch gears a little bit because I
Let's
know
do it.
we're going to have a whole episode dedicated to equestrian.
Mhm.
Another project that I've been working on and you've been a part of, Scott, is um, we're calling it the special order program. We've always had the ability to special order products for you guys. And we're kind of to the point of, I think Scott mentioned it earlier, diversification, really putting ourselves out there, using our buying power to, make strategic partnerships with other supply companies. You know, we're we're looking at very soon. We've already started, but very soon connecting y'all with products like Versetta Stone,
Mhm.
products like standing seam metal roofing,
Right.
things that Burroughs doesn't manufacture.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so we're out there and we're building partnerships actively right now so that we can bring you a um, a program that you can promote products because you can feel comfortable about them knowing that your main supplier Burrows can bring those to you as part of the package, so you
Right.
don't have to go out and make a second phone call, have a second purchase order, a second delivery, second invoice. And so that to me is pretty exciting. And I would say don't hesitate if there's something right now, hey, man, I have to go out and get these all the time. And it's
Mhm.
annoying.
Mhm.
If Burroughs just stock that, call
Right.
Scott, call me. Seriously, we're open to that discussion.
Mhm.
And we would love to bounce ideas off one another.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I appreciate that. Something else, thinking about new projects, new things that we can do. We're looking at pre-cut soffit, right? So that's something else that we're looking at. Because typically you can run if you're looking up your gable. It's kind of running that soffit. I would say vertical with that gable. We do sell the pre-cut, or I'm sorry, we sell vented and non-vented soffit, and then I know a lot of guys that are cutting it in the field. Well, we're looking at, hey, can we just offer 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot pre-cut soffit?
Hmm.
Just makes it easier, right? Makes it more efficient for you. So, that is really the heart of what we do when we bring a new product. We're not just like, "Oh, what can we sell?" Right?
Hmm.
It's like, how can we make the job easier,
In,
more
fa-
efficient? Go ahead, Josh.
in fact, we had a customer last week that brought that to us, right? They were like, hey, we don't want the 12-foot soffit anymore. We really want pre-cut, you know?
Mhm.
And so we didn't have that capability. I was like, my initial reaction was, can we cut it in house? Like,
Right.
can we cut down in house and package? Which we probably could, but we're like, let's explore other
Sure.
options first. And so we went out and we found a supplier that we've done some business with in the past, and got the pricing together, and actually got it entered into Smart Build. So you should be able to go in. It should be, if you're a Smart Build user, go to your soffit. You should be able to change it to pre-cut.
Mhm.
And if you have any questions, call me, call Scott, call Elliot at the office, and we can help show you where that is. But that is something else that we will be communicating out to everyone. But if you're a listener of the podcast, hey, you're getting the information before everybody else.
Ooh, you know what? We could make this an exclusive one, right? Like,
Yeah.
we could lock this one down, and the only way you can listen to this is, well, that doesn't work because you're listening to it already, so there's no sense in talking about an exclusive, right? But, hey, maybe we'll
Yeah.
do that in the future. We'll have, like, a separate channel just for our exclusive members. So that's fun. But yeah, and I do appreciate that we're kind of working off the fly here because we are giving you guys a little bit of sneak peeks into what we're doing. And I'm glad we are doing this because I want you to know, like, we're a for-profit company, right? We're here to make profit. If we don't, then we just close the doors. But when we bring you new products, please know, um, as much as possible, we have due diligence, right? Whenever I joined the team, and my background is pretty diverse, but I've done a lot with planning, product planning, and so that's what one of the things that we've worked on internally is to develop a system so that if we bring a product to you, we've done a lot of internal analysis. Okay, if this product is going to replace that product, who's currently using that product, and if we're going to replace it, does it make sense? Because we have to explain this to you, right? We don't want to sit in a corner glass office and go, "Hey, I think they need this." You're the ones out there building,
Hmm.
right? But one of the things that we can do is we can go in and we can pull reports of, hey, how many of our customers out of X number in the past 6 months have ordered this product? And we're like, oh, man, no one's ordering that. Well, why are we carrying it? Or, "Hey, we've got customers ordering a ton of this product. Why? And is there a better way to do it?" That was one of the things with the GRK fasteners. A lot of you guys out there are still using nails to, put up your truss, carriers and stuff like that. Hey, if that's what you wanna do you, right? But I can tell you this, a GRK fastener is a lot better option. I've done it, right? I'm not telling you this, someone sitting here in a
Hmm.
sound booth. I've done it. It's a lot easier. You don't have to worry about running generators and air compressors and air hoses and all that other stuff. Man, you got a T30 bit and a ratchet drive and
Yeah.
2 screws, so it's just, again, a little bit of insight
Hmm.
into what we do. We don't bring stuff just because we're like, "Hey, what do you wanna do today, Josh?" "I don't know, let's do new screws." There's a whole lot that goes into that. I'm not trying to be too facetious,
No, it's
but I'm
true.
just trying to communicate that we are always, how can we help you as a builder
Hmm.
be better, more proficient, more profitable? Is there a better way to do things? And we wanna bring that to you. So, I'll
Hmm.
shut up. Sorry if
Hmm.
I talk too
No,
long.
that's all good information. That's great, and I know we're really close to time here, and you know, did you have anything else major that you wanted to chat about
Mm.
today before we wrap this one up?
Well, whenever you started to say earlier, you was like, "Oh, something else I'm working on." Um, I thought you were gonna tell them about, we've been working on this racetrack out behind the office here, and we were gonna have our own ASCAR races.
No, I wasn't going to break that one out just yet.
I mean, that's where the drums come in, right? Did you get that
Hey,
NASCAR radio?
don't we have a drum effect? Can we? We got
I
the slappy.
oh, hey. Yeah, you know what? I never plug mine in because I'm like, if I do that, I'm not going to not be able to sit there and just hit the buttons, right? Oh, Josh brought it. See,
There it
here's
is.
what happens. Josh gets the fancy glasses on, and now he starts breaking into sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
That was well timed, Josh.
Yeah.
Well done.
So I I wa- I watched something this week. I want to throw out there too. I'm sure because in Oklahoma there's not a National Football League team, right? There's no NFL team in Oklahoma.
Mm-mm.
No, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you guys, but the Kansas City Chiefs has a new Netflix special, and it's worth watching if you're a Chiefs fan. Which I'm guessing in Oklahoma, there's probably quite a few Chiefs fans there. I would think.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, you've got two options: the Chiefs or the Cowboys, and who
oh
wants
my
to?
God, and who would go to the Cowboys for real? I mean, unless you're a fan of their cheerleaders, I don't get it. But
I follow the Cowgirls.
man, for real. But no, that Netflix special's good. I couldn't stop watching. I had to. I did break it up into like two or three nights, but yeah,
Okay.
it's worth catching for sure
Okay.
as we
Yeah.
roll into the NFL season.
Oh yeah, college football, NFL. I'm just ready for cooler weather. Hey, okay, so let's wrap this up with this.
All right.
So, at least for Oklahoma, we are, I think this is maybe our next to our last day of the heat, right? So, our listeners out there, if you live in Oklahoma, right here, right now, it is 2:34 in the afternoon. It's like 8,000 degrees outside. Um, well done.
Here,
well,
here, I thought you
well,
were going to say in Oklahoma we're at least the NBA national champions. Uh,
oh, that's yeah. Well,
I mean, you may not have
here's
an
what.
NFL team, but you've got a good
Yeah,
basketball team.
we do. Here's one of the things you know about Scott Craig. I don't
You
watch
don't care.
sports. I have no
You
clue what's
don't
going
care.
on. So if you want to come in and talk sports, I'll be like, yeah, hey, sounds good. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh boy.
But no, we're about to break the hot season here, and I would say this: I think a lot of guys are still trying to catch up from the rainy season, but then we went right into this stupid, crazy heat. I think it's going to be a blessing that it looks like August is going to come. Cool weather's coming soon. I think the high on Sunday is like 70 something degrees.
Oh
So,
wow.
yeah, take a look at the forecast. Right, that's another little tidbit. Right, I'm sure you do this, but
Mm-hmm.
look at the forecast, see what's coming up because hey, you may want to work some longer days because before we know, I can't believe we're already in August, right? It seems like it was just the new year, but we're already in August, and won't be too long, and we're going to be back into the fall rainy season. So, hey, if you've listened to the podcast, we've talked about playing your builds. We've been really, I think, not to pat ourselves in the back, Josh, but I think we've done a really good job of layering these podcasts. If you started listening, I think each one, and it wasn't planned that way, but each one builds on the previous. So man, if you're just jumping in right now, we encourage you go back and listen to some of those. Hey, our first two or three were clunky. We know it's okay, right? But go back and listen. And if the
Mm-hmm.
first one or two were clunky, don't give up on us.
It's like anything else. We're going to continue to get better and better and better as time goes on. So,
Yeah. Yeah. We took our training wheels off last week. So,
mm-hmm.
yeah, I took my training wheels off and Josh got new glasses.
All right. And
Yeah.
that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. All right, guys. Thank you for joining Post Frame 360 for episode 15. We couldn't do this without you, and we do it for you. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Peace out.